यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति. This is famous verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, number 30. One who sees everything in the self and sees all in the self is never separated from the Lord, nor is he separated from the Lord, or he is not separated from the Lord, and the Lord is not separated from him.
Thank you. If you look into Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi's teachings, he wrote Updesh Saram in Sanskrit. He wrote it in Tamil first, Updesh Undiyar, and he translated into Sanskrit and other languages. The crux of that teaching is that when you meditate yourself as him, that is the best meditation. And when you meditate in silence without uttering anything, that is the best meditation. And when you meditate constantly, like pouring of oil or constant flow of river, then it is best meditation. Detaching yourself from your mind, abiding in self, which is pure silence, and just be. When pull of the mind or mental impressions, attachment and aversions tries to pull you out from the source, just be. Though just be is effortless, but we say there is an effort to just be because there is a pull of mind. And this pull of mind is not because of power of mind. It is our own interest in that pull. It is like tug of war. You are staying in self, but your ghost ego is also on the other side and pulling the rope from the other side. This game of duality is played only by us. There is no external force. We are that absolute. And then we act as ego, owner of that mind, pulling from the other side. And this energy which is accomplice of the mind, the same energy same attention, when we bring to heart abiding in source, that pull of the mind gets less and disappear. We call it a direct path because here no one is mediating this effort. There is no step. You just be. And this just be is always just be. No one can guide self. Self is always in its own resplendent, still, peaceful, loving and kind, free of all sins, impartial, neutral, contented. It is not playing any role in this world. Though it is the source, it is the energy through which things are happening. Same source in all of us, that absolute. None other than us. Only absolute can know absolute. Only self can know self. There is nothing beyond or before self. Buck stops here. This is knowledge of all knowledge. Knower of knowledge is actually knowledge. And this knowledge is in all of us, all the time. Be still and know it. Non doing is knowing it. Silence is the vehicle to get here. Silence of the mind. Recede back into the source. Keep your attention and energy in the source. When you're watching anything, watch from the source. Do all conversations from the source, all interactions. If you try to think from the source, no thought will arise. If you analyze thoughts, thought serves an individual, while self is universal. So if a thought arises from universal self, that thought has to incorporate everything. It has to talk about welfare of everyone. It has to be impartial. It has to be truthful. Thought arising from self is not about a body, a person. Now analyze thoughts arising from ego. They are all about a body situation, relationship. Body is a story. All thoughts arising from ego are bondage. In a way, it's sin because it is selfish, self centered. Only thinks about a body, not others. And this is a mistake, an illusion. You are universal self. Everything is in you. You are the mother of universe. How mother can only think about herself and not her kids. Which mother can be that selfish? Now analyze your dream at night. All beings and objects are your own creation. Whom to blame, whom to give credit. In this waking dream again, it's all projection of your own mind, coming from you only. Whatever anything is, it's all coming from source. And you are the source. Respect and love everything. Whatever shape, form they carry, doesn't matter. Tattva, the essence is same. You are in everyone, in everything. Everything is that pure, undifferentiated awareness. Know this truth within you and in everyone, and be free forever from all sorts of discrimination. All these discrimination are illusion, result of conditioning. Be free, be unbound, liberated. Transcend mind to be liberated from all concepts of mind. Understand to whom mind talks. Mind is talking to a self created entity called ego. When that entity dissolves in pure seeing, mind has no one to talk to, and it merges in absolute. When you firmly establish yourself in absolute, mind can still raise doubts or suggestions in form of thoughts, but they have no value. You have already transcended mind. Now you can pick and choose or reject everything. Now you work from your own intuitiveness. You don't even have to play anything, things are just happening. This realization dawns on you when the ego dissolves, yet everything is happening. Here comes profound realization that I was not the doer. I was falsely claiming all actions of the body as my own actions. Body, mind, all part of matter. I am not. Matter is impermanent, changing, transforming. I am not. Mind, body is part of the world. I am not. I am changeless. Body sleeps, body dreams, and the body wakes up. I only observe. Body moves. I am always still. Establish yourself in this pure stillness. I am Brahman. I am pure awareness. I am self. I am self of all. There is only self. Rest all is illusion. Always pay attention to the pure silence, substratum of all thoughts. All thoughts arise from this silence and merge in this silence. Mind arises from this silence. And every day merges in this silence. You are this silence. Live, breathe, and act from this silence. This silence is blemishless, pure, untainted. You become pure when you enter into it and abide in it. As it, See the beauty in every person, every individual, everything, plant, animals, objects. Everything becomes lively and pure when you touch the essence of everything, that pure self. Self is all. Go beyond forms. Know yourself to know all. When we touch our own purity, we touch purity of every being. Merge your mind in the silence of pure self. Only in silence we realize all of us are one, and so arises this unconditioned love. Love which knows only to give to self. Everything is self. Knowing self connects us with everything. We know others more than that they know themselves. When we know our essence, we know everyone's essence. When you know others' mind by mind reading or by brain computer interface or by any other technique, you only know people's mind. You don't know them. Even they don't know themselves. All this knowing is useless. Knowing people's mind is knowing the gadget they are carrying, not what they truly are. Best connection is the level of self that helps others to raise their level to self to connect to you. This is the purest connection at the highest level, full of love and only love. I may read this question from Dinushri.
Hi,
Dinushri.
it's Dinesh.
Hi, Dinushmi. Do you want to say the question?
Yes. Hello, Sanjay. I'm a bit new here.
That's
I
okay.
started listening to your YouTube back in September and just been amazing.
Can you
So,
open your video?
yes, so I'm having some issues with Zoom. I have like 9 different Zooms installed, I think, and I don't know why. Yeah, I'm having a lot of issues with Zoom. I keep pressing the start video and it says enable camera access. But when I try to do that and do the permission, it
That's
still
okay.
doesn't work. So I do apologize.
That's okay.
Um, I'll figure it out at some point. So my question is, I do wish to ask you, um, the more I try to abide in silence and just to observe my thoughts, I feel it just comes back with more intensity. And I mean, not always, sometimes, and it can be overwhelming. And it could be just like little things that are just so annoying. And I'm just wondering, because I know it's all part of the process and, possibly inevitable at the early stage. So I was just wondering, how does one deal with this stage
So what you're
of the
saying is,
practice?
if I can repeat what you're saying, when you're trying to abide in silence, your thoughts, you feel more thoughts. Is that right?
Yes. So yeah, sometimes like the more I try to observe the thoughts, I feel like it just intensifies. It's like the
Mm.
more attention you pay to something, how it just becomes more.
Yeah.
Um,
So I need to correct you here because you are saying when you try to observe your thoughts. I don't want you to observe your thoughts. I just want you to stay in silence. And if
hmm,
anything you want to observe, then observe silence rather than thoughts. Let's say you have a book page and there are words written on the book page. But let's say if I ask you to just pay attention to the blankness in the page, then whether the words are there or not, letters are there or not, it doesn't matter. You are just paying attention to the blankness. But if you pay attention to the thoughts, observing your thoughts, definitely you will only be observing them. I believe that is sheer madness. So just pay attention to the silence, which is substrata of all thoughts. I'm not even asking you to pay silence to anything or observing anything. Just be as if thoughts have no role to play in your life. So if thoughts come and go, and if you are not engaged with them, whether they stay longer or whatever they are, who cares? I give an analogy about thoughts. Treat them as your bad neighbor. You can't be friend with them, you can't fight with them. Just accept and just be. Ignore all thoughts. Because our relationship with this so called world at an individual level is only through thoughts. If we want our relationship at that level of self, we have to give up this relationship. You cannot continue relationship at two levels, at self and as ego. When the ego dissolves, then self stays because it is always there. You cannot dissolve self. Self is always there. Even when we act as ego, self is always there. So rather than observing thoughts, just observe silence. And thought comes and you are observing silence. And then your attention goes on thoughts. You bring it to the silence. And then there are other methods, like asking to whom these thoughts are arising. And if the answer comes to me, then you ask, who am I? Ask this question quite deeply, and it also takes you to the source. Because if the question is genuine, it will take you to the right place. And ego is not the right place. Ego is just an illusion. And once you reach the right place within you, just be. Once you transcend this process by establishing yourself in self, then thoughts come and go, it doesn't matter. You can have a laugh on all, even stupid thoughts, because there is no ownership. And another important thing is staying in this self as self gives you so much of peace, contentment, joy, unending joy, bliss, and connecting with everything so beautifully. Once you have tasted this higher self, who wants to go back again into hell of thoughts? It is actually hell, it is suffering. I don't think it serves any purpose except giving you suffering. More intense your longing and love to the truth is, more power you gain to abide in self and this pure silence. If our attention is going only on thoughts, that means we have some interest in those things. Dispassion, vairagya, is the first step to abide in self. If I have interest in thousands of other things, if my mind is full of desires, how can I have peace? I will be in pieces. So we have to set out with the right intentions. When our energy is flowing into the source, then we don't need any methods. We need methods only when our attention is going into thoughts and we still have some interest in things which we are trying to sort out. But more we settle into this pure awareness, more power we get to be there. And I call it grace. Grace of self. Easiest method is to be devotee of this self. Love self. Remember it. Constant remembrance. And somehow it takes you in its lap. It hugs you from inside. It embraces you. And you merge in it. It is as if there is someone inside us which reveals itself when you have no interest in anything else. and you have longing for it. It transforms you. It takes you away from this world of illusion, and it reveals truth to you. Though it might happen to you 10 years, 20 years before, but it feels so fresh, so new, so divine all the time. You're so self absorbed in it that no thought can take you out of it. Because any thought which you think can give you something cannot give you this bliss. Because thought is all about getting somewhere, doing something, achieving, or commenting. I would say a jnani becomes so lazy that he or she has no interest in all these entertainments or indulgence or acquiring or even rejecting anything. Self is always in total acceptance of everything. Accept whatever thought coming to you, but pay attention to silence. No need to observe thoughts. Let them come and go. If you have no interest, they cannot keep coming. Don't worry about them. Don't give them any importance. You are that self through which that pure silence emanates all the time, even when there are thoughts. Only pay attention to that. And eventually that will be left. That silence is God. If you treat God as the word of reverence, if you want that God to manifest in you, then pay attention to this pure silence within you.
Thank you, Sanjay. Namaste. Vanakkam.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.